What's up, y'all? Happy Monday. I'm actually out running a few errands right now, so that's the only reason I'm not at home with baby girl. But today I wanted to talk about something that's super important, especially for moms who just gave birth and had a baby, and that's postpartum. A lot of people think that postpartum is just like depression or feeling sad, but it's just the whole phase that you go through after having a baby. And I think it's so important to hit on the fact that it's not just your emotions that are out of whack, but you're just a completely different person out of having a baby, and there's so many things that can go on. So, in all of my parenting classes, and even before I left the hospital, they really talked about getting the baby blues, which is another term for postpartum depression. And me personally, I know a lot of women do experience that, but I don't feel like I have. I think the only time that I've kind of gotten emotional was when Jax came home. My dad actually kept him while we were at the hospital. So when he came home, it was a really big adjustment, with a new baby being there. And he's been the baby this whole entire time. So he was looking like, what is going on? So it was a moment where, like, I was trying to feed her, but he wanted to get up there with us, but I was trying to keep a distance, especially for right now. So he was crying and she was crying, so then I started crying. So that really touched my heart. So that kind of got some world of works coming for me, but I feel like that's the only time I've been like super emotional. But other than that, I feel like anything else I felt is just from like being human and having feelings, like, in general, because it was a point while I was pregnant, pretty much when this whole quarantine thing happened, I couldn't work. The salon was shut down, so I was just at home and had a lot of time on my hands to think about stuff that I usually wouldn't, like, have time to think about because I'd be working. So I was literally, like, depressed during the first part of quarantine, and I knew that postpartum depression is something that could happen. So during that time, I really like prayed that I wouldn't go through that, because I was in a really low place during that time while I was pregnant. So I didn't want, once the baby got here, for me to just not be right mentally, because it's really important for me to be the best mom I can be in all capabilities, mentally, physically. But yeah, so God really answered prayers, and I haven't been taken to a bad mental space. When things do cross my mind, I just say a quick prayer, try to do something to keep my mind off of it, or whatever I can do to just stay in a positive place. So that's really been working. But yeah, the whole postpartum phase can actually take a toll on your health, physically, and that's when things got like a little bit more real for me. So my OBGYN suggested that I come to the hospital because I've been having like really bad headaches, like migraines, for the past week or so. So I ended up trying to go to urgent care just to get my blood pressure checked, because Google will let you know everything. So I figured it was like my blood pressure. So I tried to go to urgent care, and they suggested I go to the emergency room, because if it was something serious, they would have everything that I needed there. So I ended up going to the emergency room. My blood pressure was kind of high. It was like 145 over, I don't remember. Um, but and they did labs and everything, but they weren't like too concerned, because everything was pretty much just borderline. So they weren't worried about me. So they weren't too concerned that it was anything serious. But before I left, she checked my blood pressure again, and it was actually like 175 over something, which is super high. And then it ended up being like 180 over something, like as soon as she checked right after. And but she ended up letting me go, because they all knew that I was ready to go home, because I wasn't expecting all that to happen. I was trying to get back home to the baby, but she was like, oh, well, you're probably just stressed and ready to go. So that your blood pressure can tend to rise when you're feeling kind of anxious. So I'm just like, okay, so this is on a Saturday, and then Sunday my headache persisted. Oh, and they said that the headache could be due to sleep deprivation, which I have been sleep deprived, or dehydration from breastfeeding. So while I was at the emergency room, they reached out to my OBGYN to kind of like get my records and let her know what's going on and get her opinion as well. So from that, she ended up following back with me yesterday to see how I was doing, and then when she finally got my like labs and paperwork and everything, she realized how high my blood pressure was before leaving, and she was so upset that they even let me leave with my blood pressure being that high. Like, whether I was anxious or ready to go, whatever, it should have been like a top priority to figure out why my blood pressure was that high. So she was really upset about that, and I actually had an appointment to come in today to get my blood pressure checked, but she wanted me in as soon as possible, so that's why I ended up coming in last night and getting everything started. Like, I am super ready to go to get back to baby girl, and of course my little boo boo Jaxie Waxy, but I am grateful that my OBGYN reached out to check up on me and was concerned to get me in here, because just having those headaches meant a sign of high blood pressure, and that could lead to other things like seizures and stuff. So, and that's not something that, I want to go through. So I'd rather be away from her during this small time right now to get myself together, rather than having to be away from her for any other reason. And oh my gosh, this blood pressure thing is killing me. So what I thought was going to be just me coming in to get my blood sugar checked and having to possibly stay 1 day has turned into me staying 2 days. And I just got the news that I'll be having to stay another night, which is a little upsetting because I was looking forward to going home. And so yeah. So I'm really trying not to cry because that'll make my head hurt, which is what brought me in. So I'm trying to be strong. I just really miss my baby. I'm ready to go home and, get back to taking care of her. But, the doctor and my mom reassured me that it was best to just go ahead and stay another night to make sure that this medicine was working, so that I wouldn't get home and start feeling sick again and end up having to come back and stay 2 or 3 nights. So hopefully this medication works well, and we can get the ball rolling to getting back to normal life. So not only am I ready to get home, being here by myself can be a little bit lonely in this big old room. I just ordered me some breakfast, just some cereal and a muffin, because I know I need to eat, but I really don't feel like eating. I just want to be home and eating, but it is what it is. So I gotta boss up and make sure that I'm good, so that we won't have to go through this again. My doctor was saying, just with me being really young and having blood pressures that high, things are pretty, concerning. Last night around 2 a.m., my blood pressure got up to like 172. So it's just really been up and down all night. So I was really confined to the bed yesterday, like even to use the bathroom. I had to call the nurse so that they could unhook me from all that stuff. So, but today I'm, loose and free. So I'll be able to walk around and stuff, which is good. So then I'll be able to kind of know better, like how my blood pressure is doing with me actually being up and active. So I'm gonna get my day started, try to clear my mind, and see what happens from here. Love ya. So today is day 3 of me being in the hospital. I just found out I'm gonna have to stay another night because yesterday my blood pressures were still on the high side, It was kind of in normal range this morning, but they just want to make sure that the dosage of medicine they gave me is actually going to work since we just started it this morning and don't want to risk me going home and something happening like a stroke, which I really appreciate. I'm really trying to start today off differently from yesterday, just having a calm mind and spirit so that we can get out of here and be home tomorrow. I got in the shower, I just had breakfast. I'm about to pump, and I'm just trying to, keep my mind positive. I've been reading healing scriptures and listening to praise music and talking to God, asking Him to help me and protect me and heal me and everything. So yeah, I'm just trying to start today differently, and hopefully we'll have a different outcome. Even though this is a trying time, I'm actually really thankful and grateful that I even came in based on my symptoms, because things could have ended up being a lot worse. And just while I'm here and my blood pressures have been high, I haven't had a stroke or anything serious, and I'm just thankful that God has protected me and put people in my corner that are like really care about me being back healthy. And then it just reminds me not to take anything for granted, being at home, spending time with the baby girl, or just even going through things like having late nights and being tired and stuff, that I was really like, ugh, I can't wait to get past this part. I actually like appreciate those moments now, and I can't wait to get back to them. So this just gives me a whole new mindset on life. This is the first like health scare I've ever had, so I can imagine what other people go through on a daily basis. Or I've always been the type of person to be able to put myself in other people's shoes, but I think this experience will really allow me to relate to others, and it adds to my testimony of things that I've been through and how I could help be there for others. So it's a hard time, mainly being away from baby girl. Like, I really wish she was up here with me, but with COVID and everything going on, and my mom having to pack her up and get in the car, I really just rather her be in her element and be, safe at home. So I'll see her tomorrow. I'm already gonna speak it. I'll see her tomorrow. And shout out again to my mom, because she's been sending me pictures and I've been able to FaceTime with her and the baby. So I've just been looking at her pictures and videos all day, just missing her sweet face. But mommy will be home soon. So yeah, that was a really unexpected part of my journey, but I am back home now after going through that and finally coming to terms that at the hospital was the best place for me to be healthy, to be at home with Soraya. Like, I was able to go home on Friday, and I just didn't want to put her down once I got home. So I've just been loving on her extra hard, because that, like, you really never know what could happen, when it could happen, how it could happen. So you really just have to take advantage of the moments that you have with your loved ones and really appreciate life while you can. So just a reminder to all the moms out there, baby's going to be okay as long as you're okay. We're the ones that are taking care of them. So if we're not okay or not in a good place, how are we going to, reciprocate that in a whole being that is depending on us? So just be sure to keep yourself a priority. I know it can be hard. I've had days where I've went longer without eating. Sometimes it takes a while for me to take a shower. Like, it's so many ways that we can get caught up in taking care of a whole nother human. But even if you aren't the one with the baby and you have friends that do have kids, just be sure to reach out. A little bit of love goes a long way. So don't forget to share it. See you next Monday. Bye.